relationship with God. And while it was new, it was obvious. You prayed and spent time in the Word. But now you have left your first love.
You'll hear this one in its entirety after, but good morning again. Good morning to you. We have Jerry Lloyd in studio. Jerry Lloyd, how are you doing? Good morning.
Good morning, Ivona, and good morning to all those of you out there in DBS Radio Land. It's good to be here this morning, and I am doing very well, thank you.
Okay, a nice blend of colors, man.
Indeed.
Yes, it says a lot. How are things, Jerry Lloyd? How are you doing?
Going well, thank you. We are pushing, but I am doing very well. I try to rest in the midst of all of the preparation that has to be done, but I am doing very well, thank you.
Okay, you say we are pushing. Pushing what?
Well, Friday, this coming Friday, at 8 p.m. at the Bill Daniels Memorial Park opposite the Goodwill Pentecostal Church, Jerry Lloyd in concert dubbed Sing, Rejoice, Praise, Testify. And so in the light of this, we have been practicing, really pushing the practices, which are going exceptionally well, I have to tell you. And the musicianship is great, the background vocals are good. I think Dominica is going to have has a very good event to look to, and it's going to be a really marvelous treat, apart from its inspirational obvious inspirational content. It will also be marvelous for the musicianship and the singing and the general excellence that's brought to the event.
Okay, all right. So a lot of people know Jerry Lloyd. The name Jerry Lloyd is, a common name, not just in Dominica, but in the field as well. But it would be remiss of me not to ask you, who are you, Jerry Lloyd? Tell us about Jerry Lloyd, the calypsonian, the gospel artist, the father, everything.
Well, I am producer, singer, teacher. I guess I'm known to wear a number of hats. But singing has been something that has been with me consistently from a very, very young age. And so in that light, I've been able to be part of a number of things growing up. As a matter of fact, I think my first outing as a singer would have been, since I was singing since 7 years of age, but my first major outing would have been when I was at the Goodwill School. I was a member of the choir. Can you believe it? Singing alto in the Goodwill School choir, Goodwill Junior High School choir at the time. And I went into grammar school from that. I think we were exposed to a subject called speech and drama that really gave us an opportunity to express ourselves. And at the time that I got there, fellas like the Hicksy, Monty Douglas, a gentleman for Dominican England called Poich, The Explosion, Shaky, all of these guys were at school at the time. And so I got into Calypso.
Explosion.
That's my brother. Okay. Yes. And so I got into Calypso at the grammar school. I sang at the juniors. Did pretty well because I placed among the guys who were the big guns at the time. They were probably fourth or fifth formers. I was in first form. And so through this, I came to, or from this rather, I came to singing when Arthur Pascal Bassi, by Calypso name, and my brothers and myself formed a group called B+. And in that group we did a lot of work. We used to travel a lot with Bells Combo and had opportunity and privilege to sing cadence and stuff with all of the big bands of the day, and the Billowmans, the Midnight Groovers, Gramax, all of these groups. I remember we did Gramax had done a cadence festival at St. Joseph that we were part of, so we got to really mix with a lot of musicians in those days. And of course, because of this, my musical acumen and the way I prefer to present music was highly influenced by Bells Combo at the time. So out of this, there were times when Bells Combo would take me out with them. I was very young at the time to go sing in different places and do stuff. There was also Calypso competition in Maho that I took part in, when where guys like the Mopper of old and the Provoker, who is presently deceased, participated. And so it has been quite a ride doing music. In 1979, though, I surrendered my heart to Jesus. It was, that time, still a young teenager, mid-teenager actually. And when I did that, I kind of, prior to that, my father had stopped us from playing with the band so we could concentrate on external exams at the time from school. And then I gave my heart to the Lord. And I had basically stopped playing music because, here was I, a new experience, a baby in Christ. My interest was in growing, spending time in the Word and prayer. And pop, up come some guys and we started doing some singing. Then I discovered that God had given me a gift of song. So I hear the songs, I write them. And so I began to sing in the gospel now, the songs that I was writing. Interestingly enough, they were not very well received by the church in the day.
Interesting.
Because
and that's why?
Well, at the time, the national cultural behavior was such that it was considered practically a sin to play calypsos on Sundays. That's the kind of society we lived in at the time. And in church, of course, there was the country and western stuff, more the Jim Reeves kind of stuff, and ballads, maybe a couple pop songs kind of thing. And here comes Jerry Lloyd singing reggae, calypso, soca, cadence. And so it was not well received. The persecution was heavy, and the reactions were not very pleasant.
So for someone who had a cadence background, how did you take that?
I didn't take it. I just kept doing what I was doing. I think, though, for me, I was that convinced that I had been given this to do, and I was that convinced that the message was sound. I tried escaping on a couple of occasions. I tried doing some stuff like singing like Jimmy Swaggart at one point. I used to do that well. But of course, that's not what I needed to do. So the second time I tried to escape, I tried doing the Al Green thing, but God stopped me on both occasions. And then I came to understand, listen, if I sing like somebody else, I become a copy of somebody. And what happens every time you sing, people begin to look at you thinking about how much more like the person you sound. And I began to understand that originals take more time to come to the fore, but when an original has made a stamp, you know their sound, you know their music. And I think I'm in the process of doing what I do. I've achieved that. If you hear a song from Jerry Lloyd, you know it's Jerry Lloyd. As a matter of fact, I have produced songs for other people that they sing, people listen to the songs and say, you know what, that's Jerry Lloyd right there. So I like the greats, Bob Marley, Sparrow, whatever. They have a sound. Jerry Lloyd has a sound, which came out of this too. Interestingly enough, through the process, I encountered DBS's then manager, Mrs. Myrtle Solomon, and she was interested in getting me to do some recordings, so she took me to Ken Robinson's studio. My stuff was getting known, it was becoming more accepted. And I went there, I sang a couple of songs, Ken heard them, and Ken said to her, Mr. can't sing. He cannot sing, he has a rasp in his voice, I don't like to hear him. And so she changed her mind about doing the recording. It wasn't until a few years later that I encountered. And
that was around, what year was that?
We're talking 1981, 82, thereabout. And so 2 years later, Clifford Gibbons met me on the street and told me that they were trying to get gospel music on local TV. And so when he said that to me, I very quickly promised to get with my musicians and ask them about that as to whether we could do it. I responded to him a few days, let's do it. And so he now invites me to the studio where I can come and we're going to actually do the recording. And so I went to Ken Robinson's, I went to Center Roma, lo and behold, I'm in Ken Robinson's studio again.
Again.
Yes, and
same man who told you that.
Same man who told me I couldn't sing, rasping my voice. Now, interestingly enough, that thing that he called the rasp in my voice became Jerry Lloyd sound. And so when I had done the songs for the video recording, Ken said to me, but your singing has improved, man. That didn't make sense to me, just like it didn't make sense when he said I couldn't sing.
You had done no improvement?
No. Well, all I did was to keep practicing. I was with a group at the time, and we just practiced and sang and practiced, and we did that on a weekly basis. We did not practice for events. We practiced because it was the thing to do. And so you find my singing apparently had improved, at least to him. So he said to me, well, why don't we work on an album? And so that is how I got to do my first album, Satisfaction Guaranteed, at the Nature Island Studios of Ken Robinson's in Santa Roma, Goodwill.
Satisfaction Guaranteed. You
Yes.
had how many tracks on that?
Eight of them.
And that was the time of the cassettes.
Yes, yeah, it is. As a matter of fact, I did 5 cassette albums altogether.
5 cassettes.
5
wow.
of them, yes.
And so that's way back, Jerry Lloyd.
Yes,
you have a lot
it
under
is.
your belt where your music is
Yeah,
concerned.
it's been a
going
minute.
from Kadas, you dabble in calypso as well.
Yes,
But
yes.
gospel, you stayed with the gospel.
Yes, absolutely.
But who were you listening? You mentioned Al Green earlier on, though,
Yes.
Jerry Lloyd. But who were you listening to? Maybe in Dominica, in the Caribbean, who
Um,
impressed you a lot.
Gordon Henderson with Exile One, a lot of voice. Halibut from Bells Combo, a lot of voice and a lot of his stage presence and performance. He was quite something. And apart from him, Dominic, Chubby with Midnight Groovers, and then there were a lot of Kadas bands, and Dominica was inundated with music. We had before Radio Dominica came on stream, there was WIBS, West Indies Broadcasting Station, and then the Big Array, Radio Antilles. And I mean, there was always music playing at home. So you got pop singers on one hand, you got country and western singing on one hand. And so the influence has been various. It has been various and very strong. But of course, in Dominica, these 3 gentlemen, Chubby, Gordon Henderson, Halibut from Bells Combo, stand out very, very strongly amongst the influences that I had. I suppose too, they were producing more music than everybody else. I know there's the Gramax, there's Liquid Eyes, there's the Swinging Stars on one hand, the Boys and them on the other. There was Naked Feet, Mammoth from Portsmouth. Just a whole lot of bands, a whole lot of music, a whole lot of singing.
You were tied to the Kadas music.
Well, yeah. Well, it came up. It came in the day when I was growing up, so it was really very, 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 very present in my processes. And as a matter of fact, when Kadas dwindled in Dominica to the point where it was practically not being played. It was, as far as my recollections go and my information goes, it was Exile One and Ophelia outside of Dominica, and Chubby Chubby from Groovers and myself in Dominica pushing Kadas consistently.
Okay. Any local gospel artists you were well pleased with back in the day, or even Caribbean artists, Joseph Niles and the Consolers and people like that?
What are you asking about them?
Any gospel artists at that time? Because you mentioned a lot of Kadas.
Oh yes,
but were you
yes.
listening to a gospel
Joseph Niles was the major artist of the day out of Barbados. He dabbled a lot in Spooge, which was Barbados national music, and then of course he did a bit of calypso, a bit of reggae, some of that stuff. But the fact is, at that point in my growing up, I didn't have a particular interest in the gospel. So my influence in the gospel in a more specific way would have come from 1979 onward.
Okay.
Yes, but the years prior to that, the 70s, were the years of Kadas, and that's what there was a lot of, along with the other music that was being played on the radio.
Okay, so let us keep a little. In terms of concerts, how many concerts would you have organized already? You can recall. You have done more than 5 concerts, Jerry Lloyd?
Yeah, actually, this is my if in terms of organizing, I've organized a number of events and concerts,
Well, yes.
but Jerry Lloyd concerts in particular, this is the 5th one in Dominica.
That
Yes,
was right on target.
yes, you are.
The 5th concert.
Yes.
So let us look at this concert. Why are you having this concert at this time? Is there a specific reason why?
There are 2 things. Dominica needs to know and hear that there is something out there positive, inspirational, and pointing in a good and godly direction at this time. We have a lot of music, we have a lot of stuff out there on the radio, a lot of stuff being played and propagated, but not a lot of it is necessarily uplifting, particularly if you think about the fact that we have, apart from those of us who are grown, we have a young community to give back to. And I think if we can give them back some things that inspire them, something that push them forward in a positive way, something that makes them hope for more than the stuff that's out there, that creates the ability and opportunity to have fun, but does not necessarily point in a very positive direction. That is crucial. It is also true that I felt very strongly that this is the time to do this. This is the time to do this. I had kind of toyed with the idea of doing a concert for a few years, and it became more pressing upon me to do that now. In addition to this, for me, it's been high time. My last concert was the last concert that I planned and prepared was in December of 2013 at the Old Mill, Jerry Lloyd in concert. I think dubbed God's Favor at the time.
I want to go back a little though.
Sure.
Did Calypso, because of course you were on the stage, singing
Yes.
Calypso, did this genre sort of help you meet the objectives that you had set for yourself as a young man?
I don't think that's the way to say that, Ivona. I'll tell you why.
Well, it's your story.
God has gifted me to write songs. I never struggle to write a song. If I start writing a song and it doesn't flow, I leave it. I don't because normally I hear the songs, the words, the music I write, and so in the process of writing for my Rise Up, Don't Stop, You Can Do It Right album in 1995, because the album was released in 1998. This song came, Is My Land. I looked at the song, and it's on my God's Favor album, and it kind of bothered me because I realized although it was gospel, but it was different from every other song that I had written, in the sense that it seemed to be talking to the nation in another way. And I came to realize that song is not going to go in the same way or direction as all of the others. So at the time, I went and I consulted with my pastor. I said, Pastor, look, here am I writing, and this is what has come up. What do I do with this? He said, well, pray about it, which I did. And so in 2000, that thing came up again, man. That thing just rose up in my soul again. And I started thinking about it. So I consulted again, and I was told, well, you know what? If that's where God is leading you, go ahead. But I did not touch the song until 10 years later, 2005.
That same song, right?
Yes.
Okay.
When it became now clearly evident that this was the time to release it. So I came to Dominica. I was living in St. Martin at the time, and I registered for Calypso. It seemed to me that was the arena to drop this one. You know how sometimes if you have a message for me, you can't drop it at George's house. You got to take it to where it needs to go. And so I entered the Calypso arena. Again, in that sense, because I was singing when I was a boy. Did you feel
then that you were like in an unnatural environment?
Well, yeah,
like it wasn't your thing.
Yeah. It's not my place to be, if you please. But when you got stuff to do, you got to do it. So it was interesting too, because there was a certain kind of welcoming. What boy, welcome to the arena kind of way for the people who didn't know that I had sung Calypso before. And yet there was, what that Christian fella doing there, that kind of thing. And of course from the churches there was Jerry singing Calypso. And so it's always a strange place to be. Strange because the people within the arena are not necessarily accepting of the gospel, whatever the message is. And the people who should support me are concerned because that's where you're going.
So you were chastised for this, essentially?
At the time, well, I should say no, because people talk around you and about you, but they don't talk to you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for me, when I came into Dominica to do this, I don't do things without consultation. The first person I went to see was the superintendent of the Pentecostal churches.
Okay.
Since that's where I had gone to church before I left, I said to him, Pastor, listen, I have come back to Dominica, and this is what I have come to do. I told him. I explained to him what was on my heart, what was going on when the song had come to full works. He said to me, boy, one request I have of you. If you go there, please do not leave any casualties. Well, I didn't take anybody with me, so I didn't have to leave anybody that didn't want to come out, first of all. And then the next person that I spoke with about that was Peter Augustine. He was preaching at the time, doing a lot of preaching, evangelism and whatnot. And I spoke to him because I said, well, If anybody will tell me what time it is, he would, because Peter doesn't put water in his mouth. That's where my thoughts were. And so when I spoke to him, he said to him, well, if that is where the Lord is leading you, go for it. And so, contrary to the thoughts of people that I was breaking away to do this, every night before I went to sing, I went to pray and to be prayed for, because I understand it was not an easy task to have to perform. And so I did it understanding what it would cost me, but it had to be done nonetheless. And of course, since I know that God sometimes gives people uncommon responsibilities, I understood that to be mine, and so I took it in that vein. Interestingly enough, in 2006, and I told them in 2006 that I had come for 2 years. In 2007, and you know, it's amazing, because I am not a dreamer. I tell people usually I am too busy sleeping to dream. And that's serious.
You're too busy
sleeping to dream. Yes, you know, people go to sleep and they dream this and they dream that. So normally, if I dream, I think about it, I take it seriously, because it's not something that's common. And I had this dream, man, water, a flood, obvious flood. And so I penned the song "Water," which I sang in 2007. A few very interesting things. If you go back and you check Dominica's coming up, Dominica didn't begin to flood until after Kaiso in 2007. Interestingly enough. And DBS at the time, every time there was a flood, they played the song. And then on the night of the quarterfinals, it was a very bright, very clear night. When they announced me to sing, it began to drizzle. And when I was through singing, the drizzle stopped. But I delivered the song and I left it. I knew I had to, but I did that and I left. I left the country. I was out for until 2014 thereabout. And I came back to Dominica, to Erica. And but true to form, when I understand the depth of the message and the profoundness, that 8 years later people would be saying, "Boy, Jerry Lloyd was right way. Oh, he wasn't just singing calypso then." And so 8 years later, people begin to understand, oh, that was a message from God. And so every time I sing in that arena, I sing because there's something to be said, to be delivered to the people of the country. And when that is the place for it, that's where I deliver it. Prime example, COVID-19 hit, just before it hit. In 2013, while I was in St. Martin, I penned that song, "Help Me." Daddy touching me in the night, I frightened, I can't tell nobody. And I was here in 2019 now, and some child from Massac was being raped by a father consistently. And one night she happened to just pick that up on her phone. And so when it hit social media, it spread rapidly, it went viral pretty much. And so when I saw that video, it bothered me. The next day, I took the song and I dropped it at 3 radio stations, and I know 1 radio station played it. I would have thought, the Dominica I knew, that there would have been a public outcry and people, and it was like it happened and people know, and okay, that bothered me. And my thing was, that's how Dominica get. How we get so? And so the next year, I registered for Calypso. And I sang that song. Help Me. And so to create, not just to create the awareness because it's out there, but also to be a voice for the voiceless. The people who keep being abused and raped consistently, that nobody listens to, that nobody hears, who sometimes are so silent about it because they think they will be blamed, and some who are blamed and beaten by parents because it's your fault, and some whose mothers know, who neglect them because of either financial advantage or because they're afraid of the person who does it, or sometimes people who feel, well, he taking care of you, so he should have that too. Mothers, and sometimes mothers who feel, well, you're trying to take my man. And so against those kinds of things, these people suffer in consistent and continual silence. So I put the song out there. Again, somebody said, well, if you sing, you should sing in church, which I do. But I asked the question, what if I came to service by you on Sunday, singing Daddy Touching Me in the Night, I frighten, I can't tell nobody, in church? Do you know what that would suggest? This has to be propagated where it needs to be. And so, again, the persecutory behavior and what have. But to me, it's more than that. When the responsibility becomes such that one has to deliver a message, then that is what I do. And having delivered the message, if I please God and men are unhappy, I'm happy. But if I did not bring the message and somebody else was to suffer because that message did not go out, then I got problems with God and he has problems with me. And trust me, problem for problem, I rather take problems from man every day.
Jerry Lloyd, our guest. This is deep. This is deep. What are you promising for Friday, May 13th?
Friday is going to be beautiful. We have I'm going to do music across the genres that I normally do. Well, except for anything funk, that kind of way. So you're saying we'll get cadence, you'll get calypso, you'll get reggae, you'll get ballads. It's going to be beautiful. They not just the songs for what they are, but the way they're lined up. It's going to be really, really, really beautiful. We can expect excellence. We can expect the message to be clear and profound, and that God will touch our lives. I believe God will touch our lives. It's going to be a blessing, and it's an opportunity for each of us to pause for a minute, to contemplate and to think again about ourselves, who we are, our relationship with God, how we relate to the Savior, how we relate also with one another, because sometimes we proclaim and claim to love God, and God says, you can't love me that you're not seeing if you don't love people that you see. And so to give us an opportunity to bond and to just spend time in the presence of God, become conscious
rejoice,
again. Praise, testify, yes.
The 30th of May, that's on Friday.
That's on Friday evening at 8 o'clock. Yes. We are right there. A few more days. What? Today's Tuesday, so that's
Tuesday.
3 more days.
Yes,
and we are on it.
What is the response like so far, though? I know you have been on radio.
Generally, the response has been good. I am concerned.
Do you get
that
the sense that people still wait for the last minute?
Yeah. A lot of people still do that, wait for the last minute to get tickets. But we are going to be well attended, and we're going to have a crowd. I believe so. It's an event for Dominica. It's an event I think long awaited, because I have not been in concert for a long while, and I believe it's an event in its excellence, in the message and in the presentation of things, that is going to be a blessing to all those who attend and to this country by extension. Along with myself, Lily Octave, Julian Revere, the Caribbean Cowboy, and a crew called N Harmonics, up and coming from Cochrane. They sing very well. They handle themselves beautifully, and it's another opportunity for Dominica to hear them as well. It's going to be a wonderful evening. The backing band for me is a young upcoming band by the name of Dynamics. Prolific young musicians, very creative, very humble, very willing to learn. And so the journey, the very journey of practicing from the inception to this point has also been a very wonderful journey in which people are developing, and we are all becoming better at what we do. It's going to be beautiful. We spend time working on background vocals to make sure that they are clean and clear, not just a nice sound that you hear, but words that you hear. We're working hard, and it's going to be worth the while to come. If you're a musician and you like good music, it's also the place to be. If you're a singer and you like good singing, it's the place to be. It will also be an example, if you please, hopefully a masterclass in the way performance and production and music ought to be done. We hope to be able to be an example on every single level.
You have some songs that were like anthems for many people.
Yes.
Throughout the years. I mean, Let Me Go and You Pass a Trainway and things like this. Songs like this.
Yes.
So we'll be getting these songs.
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I am going beyond your years in that sense, because I'm going to be in some of the classics that are even before that time. We'll be doing some of these songs, and of course I'll be releasing a couple of the new ones, a few of the new ones. So it's going to be a well-rounded event that will encompass the fans and followers from before, those who are there presently, and those who will come. We expect it to be a really wonderful evening.
For an artist who has been in the music from a very tender age, if you go way back as a young boy, is it easier now to stage a concert of that magnitude? Is it easy, or is it still like the same? You have to treat it the same way as you treated it 20 years ago.
Right now, it's different. I could say more difficult, but no, not difficult, because work is work. Yeah. But it's much more expensive for sure. I mean, when I did the concert at Arawak in 1997, what it cost me then, it now costs to erect a stage for a concert. So we are in a totally different monetary space, and I'm saying this, I'm really happy for, and I thank every sponsor and every contributor to the event.
We have advancements in technology which lends, to better a better production.
Well, yes, absolutely. In terms of what you can do and some of the instrumentation that you can present, and sometimes without having the number of people that it would normally take to do this without the technology. Yes, absolutely. And so it has made some things easier. To some degree, it makes publicizing the event easier. But it's also more of a challenge, because the things that we do on the ground, which are still as important, do not always receive as much attention. I've tried to hit things on all levels so that we can reach everybody and all people, in that sense of speaking. But it's a challenging experience, but I'm enjoying the ride.
You're enjoying the ride, okay. So Friday, all systems go for this big event.
All systems go.
Tell us about the venue. Tell us about the setup already. What is happening?
All right. So the venue is the Bill Daniels Memorial Park, opposite the Pentecostal Church in Goodwill on Charles Avenue. Or for those of you who don't do that with the road going to the hospital from by the sea, it's the park on these grounds. My decorations people are ready to go. We're just waiting for the erection of the stage, and as far as that is concerned, we're going to have good engineering. Our musicians are ready. We're making sure that we're ready for the VIP people. I am planning to do something slightly different, because normally you go to VIP and you get fed, but I want to also introduce memorabilia from the concert that will be specifically distributed to people in the VIP section. And in addition to that, we expect good weather, which is very, very important. We're going to have good weather. I've been looking at the weather reports, and so you can afford to come out, every one of you, one and all. There'll be a bar that serves food for those of you who have that interest, and so it will be a beautiful night of ministry, a beautiful night before the Lord, a beautiful night for Dominic, a beautiful night of song and concert, singing, rejoicing, praising the Lord, and testifying. It's going to be beautiful.
Jerry Lloyd style.
That too.
Is there a Jerry Lloyd style?
Yes, of course. Well, yeah, I over the years, there are some things I've come to be known for, I guess. And so some of that you will see. I try to use the stage well. I hope I do.
So, okay, apart from you have that distinct voice, you have a good stage presence. There's a lot more you'll be adding to this.
Yes, I want to be able to do a certain measure of interaction in the crowd and see how that goes. It should be beautiful. It will be beautiful, actually.
You normally do that at the concert?
Yes, it is something that I do, and I intend to.
Okay.
I intend to. And the presentation of song will also be interesting. Also, because through the process of practices, it is going to allow me to introduce some of the singers in the band that will probably do some pieces of some things. So it's going to make for a very interesting, very interesting occasion.
Jerry Lloyd, 46-year musical journey, right? That's it? 46 or
46
close to 50 musical
in the gospel.
Wow.
50. No.
I'm not asking you to give us your age, eh?
That's. I mean, I'm not afraid of it. I've lived every day. I've only missed 2 days of my life. 3 days. One because of an accident. I was unconscious for 17 hours. And the 2 other days I've missed, or the 2 or 4 other days, was because on 2 occasions in my life I went to sleep on a Monday and I woke up on the Wednesday.
There's a song that you have,
Yes.
God Cares.
Yes.
This one is really profound.
Yes, it is.
What year you wrote this
I must have written that song somewhere down in 1992 or 93. I released it on my Let Me Go album in 1996.
Was it a dream, or you just decided that you want to pen some words how did this one come about?
You know, it's a very interesting song because when I began to sing that song, the chorus has always been the same. But I have sung so many verses to so many different people in so many different places until the recording, and then since then I sing basically the verses that are in the recording. But think about it, we face a lot of trouble in life. Things happen, whichever way, whether we expect them or not. And so sometimes when life gets really hard, it becomes difficult to see the hand and the purpose of God in those things. And to a lot of people, it could appear that God does not really care about me. Some people say, well, you know, there are wars all about and things that happen, and why do bad things happen to good people? And the truth of the matter is, through all of this, God uses every one of our situations as much as and as long as we trust Him to enhance our lives. And so the things that are terrible for me today may be something that helps me tomorrow or puts me in a position to help somebody else. And so the truth of the matter is, whether you can see it immediately or not, God does care more about each and every one of us more than we believe. And so it is to be able to view now our situations in the light of that reality, that irrespective of what I'm going through now, God cares, and if I don't see the benefit now, I will see it later. And so Dominica can take a hold of this. Everybody listening can take a hold of this. God cares more about you than you believe. We will be sharing that song as well. It's
Let's
going
see,
to be
this person
beautiful.
wants to share with you. Hi, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Morning to your host, Dublin here.
Yes, hi, morning.
Good morning, sir.
I had to call because I remember you and Mao growing up, talented, you and your brothers, Joey and the others. Had some good time growing up in the musical field. But the revolution you created when you we're accustomed of listening to gospel songs, everything we used to listen to was slow and you created a revolution where you use the local genre to get the message of the gospel across, and this was tremendous. And as you say, in one of your songs, which I like very much, even within your own circles, within your own church, there were people who
you pass that through me.
there were people who couldn't understand the thinking that gospel cannot be just slow and what the overseas gave us. We had our own local genre music, which is gospel, put in gospel form. You also created a revolution in Calypso when you entered Calypso by Chicken Bread. Or you can go to Calypso because he's a Christian. So I just called to give you flowers, and certainly to be at the concert. I think you have tremendous talent that needs to be exposed.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you. I really appreciate that from you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
It's interesting as you mentioned this. My influence on music in Dominica is probably more than a lot of people know, and on music and performing arts, probably more than a lot of people know. But it's not stuff I tout, but I am aware of what my influence is in a very much more general way on music and performance in Dominica. And so I thank God for the privilege of having been able to do that through the extent of my time of singing and ministry and just doing what I do.
The big concert is on this weekend on Friday, the Jerry Lloyd concert. Just listen to this as we continue.
The gospel event you've been waiting for is here. Dominica's most outstanding gospel artist, Jerry Lloyd, in concert. Friday, May 30th at Bill Daniel Memorial Park, Goodwill, 8 p.m. along with Julian Revere and Harmonix and Lily Octave. Sing, rejoice, praise, testify. Tickets, adults $40, children under 16, $15, $100 VIP. Sold at Bullseye Pharmacy, Robinson's Bakery, Robinson's Grocery, and various churches around the island.
Come check out Jerry Lloyd in concert Friday, May 30th, 2025 at the Bill Daniel Memorial Park in Goodwill at 8 p.m. Additional acts Julian Rivera, Lily Octave, and N Harmonix. Tickets adults $40, children under 16, $15, VIP $100. Sing, rejoice, praise, testify. Jerry Lloyd in concert. Come check it out. Be there.
Jerry Lloyd in concert, and he'll have some powerful people with him as well. Julian Revere. I mean, this ad that Julian Revere did, you know, that deep voice of Julian Revere says a lot, Jerry.
Yeah, and Julian has done a lot of work in country music. His development has been both local and international. And so he brings to this international experience and also a genre of music that hits another listenership, because country and western music was propagated a lot more in Dominica earlier on, like we said, when that was kind of the order of the day. One of my brothers, Eddie, released a country and western album some time ago, and there have not been very many. I remember, was it Michael Andrew? How it grieves me to see these children a long time ago released that song from in the Marigot Wesley area. But we have not had too many country and western artists in Dominica. And Julian has been holding up that end of things and doing a marvelous job with it. And so we expect from him a marvelous performance as well. And he will do well. For those of you lovers of country and western music, he is somebody to listen to. He does a marvelous job, and we expect him to do well at the concert also on Friday.
Lily as well. I mean, she can hold a note.
Yeah, she does. She absolutely does. And she comes from a jazz standpoint, which also adds flavor to what we will bring through. So she's gospel jazz, and we expect her to do extremely well. She has quite a voice, and she uses it exceptionally well.
So Jerry Lloyd, it will be song after song after song after song. You have it well choreographed. Everything is in
yes, place? All things in place. All things in place. And we're going to be mixing it up in some places and doing some things. I have a couple introductions of people to do through the process, but it's going to be beautiful.
Are people asking you for songs, meeting you and asking you
yes.
Sing, I want this song on the
yes. Tape. You singing your pastor through me? If you're not singing that, I'm not coming. You singing Let Me Go? Yes, I'm singing them. And even within the ranks of the group, there are people who say, you're not singing that song. And so I've introduced and adjusted the repertoire to ensure that we have some more of that too. And so everybody from every phase of the ministry and work that I've done would be able to have something that they can identify with. It's really going to be a wonderful experience.
Where can people purchase tickets?
Tickets are available at Deepex Photo Lab, at Bullseye Pharmacy, at Robinson's Grocery, and at Robinson's Bakery, and also at various churches around the island.
Jerry Lloyd, it's all systems go for that big concert on Friday. The theme again, Jerry Lloyd, is?
Sing, rejoice, praise, testify.
Testify. And heat after heat after heat, as we said. Jerry Lloyd, but in all of this preparation for this big event, how do you find time to just relax, to inhale, to meditate, or I pick my spots. When practice would have been over late in the evening, I pause before I go to sleep, and then I try to get up early enough in the morning to just spend time before the Lord and to just relax and meditate, as you say. I find these times, and sometimes in the course of the day when
all things are busy. Sometimes I just slow down and take time.
Let us look at the musical landscape in Dominica. Anything that bothers you as far as
lyrically our music has become too explicit, period. I think there's a certain benefit, if you please, to coloring something in the to the degree that you get the idea, but you leave, you kind of just drop it there. And for the fact that we have to understand, as much as we write songs and as much as we propagate music, we got children listening to the radio. We got people of school age listening. And while I know the earth is more sensual in itself, but I don't know that Dominica wants to be the best example of how raw we can be about that kind of music and about those kind of lyrics and propagations. As a matter of fact, we find ourselves in a pickle as a result of that foolishness, in the sense that Trinidad loves the bouillon, and Trinidad has begun to play it. The thing about it is that Trinidad is playing bouillon, but they're using lyrics that make sense. And if we're not watchful, we will lose bouillon to Trinidad for that very reason. Because people are only going to take that level of nonsense for so long, and then it's going to become a time when people have to think more seriously. My children can't hear this. And if we're not careful, then it means we lose the music, because the lyrics do not create value. And I think also, to the degree that what we have in music now, it does not demonstrate respect for people. I mean, you have a mother, you're going to say that about women? Really? You have sisters. Would you like people to do to your sister the stuff you're singing? And I mean explicitly and openly like that? We got to get better. And I think this concert, Sing, Rejoice, Praise, Testify, gives us an opportunity to look again, to rethink what we do, and an opportunity to be inspired to write better songs with better lyrics. The music is what it is, because music evolves. But to write better songs with better lyrics that give people a more positive outlook on life.
Not lyrics that are socially unacceptable.
And reprehensible, yes.
When you look at what is happening now, a lot of it, becomes acceptable.
Unfortunately,
yes.
Which also indicates that parents have gotten caught up by this foolishness and they're not guiding the children right. Because if your children see that's what you're listening to, then what do you expect your children to do? And we cannot afford to lose our society. We cannot afford
How do we correct this, though? I mean, apart from this, the artists themselves, do you think that it's time for us to probably revamp some of the things that we do where music is concerned? Do we need more workshops for the artists, writing workshops and all of that?
Workshops, absolutely. Revamping, absolutely. And laws. In St. Kitts, you cannot curse on stage. They will arrest, you'll get arrested and jailed, period. I think St. Martin, maybe, like you cannot curse on stage, and you bring an artist in and they'll tell the artist, so if he curses on stage, we shackle him, he's going to jail. And they have done that to some popular artists in the past. And so while we probably want to be watchful about censorship, but we got to protect our society in terms of the kind of lyrics that we put out there, knowing that the demographic of our population, it does not just consist of mature adults. It consists of children who listen to the radio too, and people who must grow up on what we who are here now produce. We have to give attention to that if we are going to continue to create a positive society. And then, because our music generally goes before us to any place, if this is the music that goes to represent Dominica, then the view of Dominicans in the international arena is going to change, because it will make us look like a licentious people. And so there's an expectation then that Dominicans will be loose, or that Dominicans will be, because that's what the music says. And so if we're going to preserve our very reputation as a Dominican people, we have to do something about those kinds of lyrics. And so, like you say, workshops, we gotta deal with writing and writing skill on one hand, and I think also another a consciousness that points back to God. because where morality is strong, lyrics are more sensible and conscious. And so we hope to provide, that through the Sing, Rejoice, Praise, Testify concert, to provide one avenue through which we can do this. I know there are other gospel works that are happening as well, and we encourage people to attend those. That will also push a more positive impression and hopefully be able to influence our society to a much better direction.
You plan to start at 8 on Friday night?
Absolutely.
8 o'clock, bang time.
Yeah, bang on time. I from 1990 we've had that, and as a matter of fact, the only event I know that we were part of where we promised to start on time that we did not get to start on time was the NIPP event of last year. And the reason for that was just before we were about to begin, one of our singers had a medical situation that needed attention, and she needed doctoral care for about half an hour. So we had to wait until she was ready to get back on stream. But it is my preferred practice to start on time, do well, and get out on time. So people don't have to think that, you don't have to think that if I come I will not be able to, because you will. If we do things the way we would like to do it by 11:30 around about, people should be going home.
So apart from your guest artists, you have a team working with you, obviously. It's not
Yes.
only Jerry Lloyd. You have people behind the scenes and ensuring that this goes well.
Yes, absolutely. And so as a matter of fact, I am hoping that today is my last day of a lot of work, because people are handling more of the things that need to be done. So it's working out. It's working out that way.
You have done a lot of promotions ahead of this?
I have tried. I am on every radio station. I am on billboards. I am on social media. I have guys in the communities doing public announcements. Small Axe is one, a very well-known one. And I'm trying to get the fellow with the house on top of his RAV. To do some stuff. But yeah, we out in the community as much as we can be. I have flyers up. I've tried to do everything old and new that I know of to get it done.
When you walk the streets, do you get a sense that like a lot of people know about this?
Yes, I do. And that's a hopeful thing, and I expect that a lot of people will turn out, and notwithstanding the fact that people wait to buy tickets late.
So people tell you, yes, I'm coming.
Yes,
because obviously you walk in the streets, that's promotion in itself.
Yes, it is.
You're well known. So.
Yes, and I have expectation that people will come out. A lot of people will come out, and we're inviting you to, we're expecting you to. There's room for you. And there's a good message for you. It's a good opportunity to be out. And because of the nature of the event, it also lends... it also lends the opportunity for... It also lends the ability for us to, for families to come out. And so we encourage that as well. As a matter of fact, in that regard, I have tried as much as possible to keep the ticket cost as low as I can. VIP tickets are $100, and we're going to treat the VIP people well. Adults $40, and children under not 12 but 16. $15 to encourage more and more people to come out, and let's make it a family event as well, where everybody can come and get something that is uplifting and good for the soul. This time you can afford to bring your children. The message is good.
All right, Jerry Lloyd, let me thank you. I know you're a busy man. I mean, everybody want a piece of Jerry Lloyd at this time, but let me thank you. Parting words as we end this discussion.
Yes, let me invite one and all one more time to come out to the concert on Friday 30th. Which is Friday coming at 8 o'clock in the evening at Bill Daniels Memorial Park. It's an event for all of the families, an event for all of Dominica. Come on, come all. We're looking forward to seeing you there. There's a message for every one of you. Come and enjoy good music for those of you who like music too, and for those of you who like good singing, we provide that as well. It's Jerry Lloyd, there's Lily Octave, Julian Rivera, the Caribbean Cowboy, and N Harmonics. Come on, come all. And God bless you. We're looking forward to seeing you there.
And it's at 8 o'clock, right?
8 o'clock in the evening.
All right. Thank you, Jerry Lloyd. All the best to you.
And thank you so much, Ivona. I appreciate you.
Take care.
This is a good time to let you know that God cares about you. If you will reach out and touch him right